Have you ever felt like time has left you behind? Like everyone else is moving forward, accomplishing things, living, and you're stuck in the same place, carrying the weight of age, responsibilities, and everything that didn't go right. That feeling is more common than it seems, and silently it starts to drain our energy from the inside out. But what few people know is that there are paths capable of completely redefining how you see aging. And Buddhism holds deep, simple, and truly transformative answers. Society has taught us that aging is synonymous with loss of beauty, relevance, strength, and dreams. But that's a cruel lie, one that Buddhist wisdom gently dismantles. For the monks, age is not a decline, it's an awakening, a call to live with more presence, more wisdom, and less rush. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. You'll discover 5 Buddhist truths that can change everything, especially if you feel like life has left you behind. Each of these truths is like a key, and when you start to apply them, even gradually, something inside you shifts. You breathe better, think more clearly, and reconnect with what truly matters. Your age doesn't disappear, but the weight of it does. And in place of fear, there's lightness. If you're tired of carrying the feeling that the best is behind you, this video is for you. Because maybe the best is only just beginning. And if this content already touched something inside you, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell. Here, we talk about the soul, about awareness, and about real transformation. And I want to ask you for a special favor. Write in the comments the phrase, "I am exactly where I need to be." That affirmation has power. It attracts good energy and anchors this new phase that's beginning for you. Let's move forward together. Have you ever had the feeling that everyone else is moving ahead except you? Like time passed, opportunities slipped away, and now all that's left is to watch life happen for others? That feeling is painful and far more common than it seems. The problem is that no one talks about it. We live in a society that glorifies speed, youth, and major milestones. If you haven't gotten married, gotten rich, settled down, or made it by a certain age, it seems like you failed. But is that real, or is it just a collective idea that silently makes us sick? This idea of being behind is a social construct. From a young age, we're programmed to believe there's a standard timeline: school, college, career, marriage, kids, home ownership, retirement. When we don't follow that script, we're left with emptiness, comparison, and a sense of inadequacy. But Buddhism invites us to see this differently. There is no single path, no single speed. Life is not a race. And the idea that you're behind someone is pure illusion of the mind. While you're comparing yourself and putting pressure on yourself, real life is happening: the now, the simple, what you feel, who you are. Age does not define your relevance. Time is not the enemy. Rushing is, guilt is, comparison is. And these weights disconnect us from what truly matters: living with awareness. Buddhism teaches that each person is exactly where they need to be, living the experiences their soul needs to grow. There is no being late when you understand that you're on the right path, even if you don't know where it leads. So, if you feel like you're behind, like you should have done more, been more, achieved more, breathe. You didn't fail. You just believed for too long in a story that wasn't yours. And now it's time to let go of it. Because true freedom doesn't come from what you do, it comes from how you see yourself. And that's exactly what the next Buddhist truths will show you. In Buddhism, time is not an enemy to be beaten, nor a resource that runs out. It's a natural cycle that teaches and transforms. Aging, for the monks, is not a process of loss, but of deepening. With each year lived, more wisdom is gathered. More layers of the ego dissolve. More clarity arises. Time doesn't steal any, reveals. But to see that, We must step out of the Western logic of productivity and success and enter a quieter state, where the value of life lies in being, not having. Many of the most respected monks only reached deep levels of spiritual realization after age 50, 60, or 70. Not because they became stronger, but because they stopped chasing everything. They understood that purpose isn't in reaching external goals, it's in living the moment with full presence. And maybe that's the greatest teaching. Age brings what was missing before depth: patience, discernment. Things that aren't taught in books or bought with money. They're earned by living, and by accepting time as a teacher, not an enemy. Buddhism reminds us that every phase of life holds a unique beauty. Youth may have sparkle, but maturity brings light. The body may change, yes, but the mind can become infinitely lighter. And that depends on how you relate to time. You can see the years as a burden or as a gift. You can resist or flow. And that simple internal shift has the power to transform anxiety into peace, fear into trust, emptiness into presence. Purpose, according to Buddhist masters, isn't something you find. It's something you activate within yourself when you are fully present in the moment. It doesn't matter your age, your story, or your failures. What matters is what you choose to do with the now. And that's exactly what we begin to explore in the next part, when you'll discover the first two Buddhist truths that have the power to open a new path, not outside, but inside yourself. Have you noticed how even the hardest moments of your life passed? Some felt unbearable while they were happening, but now they're just memories. Others you thought would last forever, and suddenly they vanished. In Buddhism, this universal truth is called impermanence. Nothing lasts forever. Not pain, not joy, not fear, not guilt. When that awareness truly settles in, something inside you releases. The grip on pain weakens, and suffering begins to dissolve. What causes suffering isn't what's happening. It's the unconscious desire for it to last or never change. But time is movement. It's flow. When we try to control or hold on to everything, we exhaust ourselves. But when we accept that life changes all the time, the heart begins to relax. And that alone already rejuvenates the soul. Because a rigid mind ages. But a flexible mind like the monks finds lightness even in difficult moments. Impermanence also frees you from comparison. What you see in other people's lives is just a snapshot. Nothing is constant, not in others, not in you. If today you feel left behind, know this: it will also pass. And instead of waiting for everything to resolve itself, you can begin living more lightly right now, by understanding that every emotion is a temporary visitor. Every phase is a chapter, and that your story is still being written, even if it seems paused. True youth isn't in the absence of wrinkles or a fast-paced life. It's in the ability to embrace change with courage, to adapt, to keep moving forward, even without all the answers. And that's what impermanence teaches: to live the now more fully, because nothing, not the good moments, not the bad ones, will last forever. And that is beautiful. That is liberating. Most of the pain we feel doesn't come from what's happening now, but from comparing it to what we expected to be happening. You expected to be somewhere else, with someone else, living another life. And when you face reality, discomfort, frustration, and self-criticism arise. Buddhism calls this attachment to illusion, a fixed idea of what life should be. But what if life was never wrong, different from what you idealized? This kind of attachment is sneaky. Sometimes you don't even realize you're holding on to it, but it shows up in your thoughts, in silent self-criticism, in sadness that seems to come out of nowhere. Life didn't follow the script you imagined, and now you feel lost, left behind, directionless. But the truth is, Maybe that script was never really yours. Maybe it was placed there by family, by society, by social media, by comparison. And what hurts isn't the life you have, it's the expectation you still insist on carrying. Letting go of that expectation is one of the greatest acts of self-love you can do. It's not about giving up on your dreams. It's about stopping the punishment for not following a path that maybe was never yours to begin with. When you make room to accept what is, without demanding it to be different, a quiet peace is born, a calm that doesn't come from achievements, but from inner freedom. And that freedom gives you back the present, gives you back your power. Because life begins the moment you choose to live your truth, not the others expected of you. This second Buddhist truth isn't about resignation, it's about liberation. The liberation from trying to reach an ideal that exhausts you. And in its place, finding meaning in who you already are, what you already live, what you already feel. The pain of "I should be somewhere else" transforms into gratitude for where you are. And believe me, it's from this deep acceptance that real paths open, because you stop searching outside and start blooming from within. The world has trained us to search for everything outside: happiness, validation, love, meaning, safety. From early on, we learn that we need to achieve, obtain, prove, possess. But the third Buddhist truth is almost a shock. Nothing you're looking for is outside. Everything already exists within you. Every answer, every healing, every strength. But you've been so distracted by external noise that you've forgotten how to listen within. And that's why, so often, even when everything seems right on the outside, there's still that emptiness inside. Monks don't live in pursuit of success, fame, or material achievements. They withdraw from the world not to escape it, but to hear what it silences, what goes on inside their own minds and hearts. And it's in that silence that they find true power. Because when you turn inward, you begin to realize that you don't need to prove yourself to anyone, that you are already whole, that your worth isn't in what you do but in who you are, even in silence, even when you're not producing. This truth changes everything, especially when we feel like we've failed or are falling behind, because it reminds you we're never lacking. Maybe you were just searching in the wrong place. You don't need more than you already have to feel worthy of peace, love, or life. You just need to return to yourself, to start building a relationship with yourself, to look at yourself with compassion, with honesty, with presence. What you seek in others, in a career, in a relationship, in a goal, will only have real value when you recognize it in yourself. Recognizing this truth is taking back control of your life. Because the moment you understand that your value doesn't depend on any external factor, you stop running and start walking with purpose. Not to be accepted, but because you've accepted yourself. And that's when you reconnect with your essence, with your calm, with your inner power, a quiet power, but steady, serene, yet transformative. This truth is perhaps one of the hardest and most freeing, because it breaks a very common illusion that to be happy we must eliminate all pain from life. But Buddhism teaches that pain is part of the path. It is natural. It's part of the human process. Loss, disappointment, change, time, all of it will hurt at some point. But suffering, that prolonged, repetitive, exhausting state, is an unconscious choice. It's born from resistance, from non-acceptance, from attachment to pain as identity. We suffer because we cling to the past. We suffer because we reject the present. We suffer because we insist on feeding thoughts that only hurt us. And while pain comes and goes, suffering sets in when we feed it with our minds. Monks learn early on that it's possible to feel pain with dignity without becoming one with it. They don't deny what they feel, they go through it. And that's why they don't carry more weight than necessary. They allow pain to fulfill its purpose, and then let it flow. This perspective completely transforms how we face our own hard moments. You can feel sadness, frustration, loneliness. You can choose not to cling to it. You can live those emotions with awareness and still keep moving. You can feel pain without letting it define you. This doesn't require brute strength. It requires presence. The ability to observe what you feel without judgment, without running, and without attachment. That is emotional freedom. And it's possible, even after years of feeling defined by pain. Understanding this truth is taking your power back. It's looking pain in the eye and saying, I see you, I feel you, but I am not you. And that changes everything. Because you stop living as a victim of what happened to you and start acting as the protagonist of what's to come. Pain may knock on your door, but it doesn't have to move in. And when you understand that, lightness comes in even on the hardest days. Most people live waiting for the perfect moment to be happy. When I retire, when I have more time, when the pain goes away, when I feel ready. But that perfect moment never comes, because it doesn't exist outside of now. The fifth Buddhist truth is clear and simple. Fulfillment doesn't come after life. It happens within life, exactly as it is right now. You don't need to fix everything to live. You just need to be present, because everything truly happens in the now. Buddhist monks have a powerful expression, here is enough. They repeat it like a silent mantra, a reminder that the present moment is all that exists and all that is needed. This isn't resignation, it's awareness. Presence is the antidote to comparison, to anxiety, to the feeling of being behind. When you are fully in the now, age stops being a burden. The pressure dissolves, peace enters, and with it comes clarity about what truly matters. But how do you live this in everyday life? By starting with small practices, observing your breath, eating without distraction, walking without rushing, being fully present in every gesture. These actions, though simple, have the power to reconnect you with your center. It's not about abandoning your dreams, but about stopping the habit of postponing life while waiting for everything to be perfect. The practice of presence teaches that even with imperfections, doubts, or pain, you can live with more lightness, awareness, and meaning. Now that you know the 5 truths, the most powerful thing you can do is start. It doesn't matter your age, your story, or what's still missing. Start from where you are. One step, one breath, one choice at a time. When you apply these truths in your daily life, something shifts silently within you. And that inner change is what, over time, transforms everything around you. A full life doesn't wait for you in the future, it calls you now. If you've made it this far, congratulations, truly. Because it shows that there is a real desire within you to change, to live with more meaning, to reconnect with your essence, to care for your mind and your time in a different way. And because of that, I want to give you something more. 4 simple habits of Buddhist monks that can be practiced in your daily life and have the power to deeply transform the way you live, even in silence, even when no one is watching. The first habit is the first conscious breath of the day. Monks, before doing anything in the morning, take 3 conscious breaths. They don't check their phones, don't think about problems, don't rush, they just breathe. And with that, they signal to the body, I am here. That simple act changes your entire internal state. You can do this now, tomorrow morning, every day. It aligns body and mind and brings you instantly into the present where the peace you seek lives. Another powerful habit is the intentional pause. At every task switch, at every transition, like before eating, before leaving the house, or before going to bed, monks pause for a few seconds. They do nothing. They just feel. Just notice. That pause, even brief, is an emotional reset. It prevents impulsive decisions, clears the mind, and helps life be lived with more presence. And this is possible for anyone, at any age. And finally, a habit that seems small, but changes everything. Being grateful for what's already here. Monks practice gratitude as a discipline, not as something automatic, but as a state of awareness. They don't only give thanks when something grand happens, they give thanks for being able to breathe, for walking, for eating warm rice. And you can do the same, because when the mind learns to see the value of now, it stops tormenting itself over what didn't come. And in that space, lightness is born. Life becomes quieter on the inside and more fully alive. If you've made it this far, I want to tell you something important. You are not alone. That feeling of falling behind, of having missed the right time, of not fitting in anymore, that runs through many people. But few have the courage to truly face it. And today, you did. You looked inside, listened deeply, and allowed yourself to be touched by something more profound. And just that is a giant step. Because no matter how much time has passed, when awareness awakens, life begins again. The 5 Buddhist truths you learned here aren't just beautiful concepts. They are tools for transformation. If you apply even one of them sincerely, your relationship with time, the past, and yourself will begin to change. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need to get everything right. You just need to keep going with lightness, patience, and truth. Because what you seek isn't in the future, it's in the present. And this is where your life begins to rebuild. If this video made sense to you, leave a like now. That helps this content reach more people who also need to hear these words. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to keep receiving videos like this, deep, practical, and made with the intention to reach those who are ready to start over, even after everything. And if you really want to strengthen this process within you, write in the comments, ****, I accept my timing and honor my story. ****. That affirmation isn't just symbolic. It's energetic. It's a statement. And when you write it, you anchor it within yourself and in the universe. Life didn't leave you behind. It was just waiting for you to come back to yourself. And now that you're back, keep going. In your time. At your pace. With more awareness, more compassion, and more truth. Because the best can still and deserves to happen.